Welcome to class, my marvelous mathematician. It's Miss Kaylin here, ready to guide you through another lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to order 3 lengths. For today's lesson, all you will need is your city block grid template. It looks just like this. You're going to slide it into your whiteboard. Pause the video now to slide the template into your whiteboard and come back when you're ready. Welcome back! Let's get started. This is Mary and this is Anne. They're trying to figure out whose path is longer from their house to the park. This map is showing Mary's path to the park and Anne's path to the park. Which do you think is longer? And do you think we could count the lines to figure out whose path is longer to the park? Take a moment to think. Could we count the lines to figure out whose path is longer? Yes, I agree. I think we could. These lines are like city blocks. When you trace one line to the next, that's a city block. So we can count each line to figure out how long the path is from the house to the park. Remember, we don't want to count the squares because we want to make sure we count each and every block. I'm going to trace Mary's path with my marker so I don't lose track. I want you to do this with me. Pick up your marker and put it at the beginning of Mary's path, just like I did. Now, count out loud with me as we trace each line on the path to see how long Mary's path is to the park. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Scholars, how long is Mary's path to the park? That's right. Mary's path is 11 city blocks long. Let's write that down right next to Mary's path so we don't lose track. Now, scholars, you did such an amazing job tracing with me. I want you to do the next one on your own. Just like we did with Mary's, I want you to count Anne's path to the park. Start at the beginning of her house and trace each line until you get to the park. Pause the video now to trace Anne's path to the park. When you're done, write the number just like we did for Mary's. Oh, welcome back, mathematician. Did you trace Anne's path? That's so awesome. How many city blocks long did you find Anne's path was? That's right. It's 9 city blocks long. Count with me as I check. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. We were right. Anne's path is 9 city blocks long. So, mathematicians, whose path to the park is longer? Mary or Anne's? Point to the button you think is correct. Who has the longer path to the park? Mary or Anne? Point now. You were right. Mary has the longer path to the park because she has more city blocks to walk from her house to the park. Great job, mathematician. Now, something awesome happened. A new kid moved into the neighborhood. I love when that happens. His name is Rob. Rob has a longer walk to the park than Mary. I want you to think. If Rob has a longer walk to the park than Mary, then whose path is longer? Rob or Anne? Let me say that again. If Rob has a longer walk to the park than Mary, then who has the longer walk? Rob or Anne? Choose the button below that you think is correct. Whose path to the park is longer, Rob or Anne? Did you click Rob? I agree. We know Rob's path to the park was longer than Mary's, and Anne's is shorter than Mary's. So if we compare them both to Mary, we know Rob's will be longer than Anne's. Great job! Now, mathematicians, we have 3 paths to compare. On the other side of your whiteboard, I want you to draw 3 lines just like this. I want you to put the paths in order from longest to shortest. The longest path should be written first, and the shortest path is written last. You can write each student's name to represent their path. Pause the video now to draw 3 lines on your whiteboard and order the paths from longest to shortest. I'll be here ready for you when you get back. Welcome back, welcome back! Did you order the paths like this? Rob is the longest, then Mary, and Anne had the shortest path. Check your work now. If you need to correct it, go ahead and do that. Mistakes are our best friend. Great job comparing the different lengths of the path on the map. Now, let's do that same thing in our virtual classroom. Do you remember Mr. Monroe? Hi, Mr. Monroe. He's trying to create the shortest path for his students to line up for recess. He has a few options laid out. Let's take a look at them. I see 2 paths so far. What do you notice about them? One's blue, one's red. Then the blue one looks a little longer because it's taking up more space, it looks like. And the red one seems a bit shorter. Scholars, do you think we could count just like we did the city blocks to figure out which is shorter? Yeah, I think so too. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's count the blue to see how long it is. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow! So the blue line is 15 tile lines long. That's a lot. Now, I want you to count the red lines all by yourself. Pause the video now and count the red line. And let me know when you're ready. I'll be here waiting. Welcome back, my master counter. Did you count the red line to see how many tile lines long it would be? Yeah, and what'd you get? I found out that the red line is 12 tile lines long too. So mathematicians, which is longer? The blue line or the red line? Click the button on your screen now that you think is true. Which is longer, the blue line or the red line? Yes, the blue line is longer. Mr. Monroe did one more line. He put a yellow line in, just to try. We know that the yellow line is shorter than the red line. This sounds a lot like the problem with Rob we just did. If the yellow line is shorter than the red line, then which path is longer? The blue line or the yellow line? Let me ask one more time. If the yellow line is shorter than the red line, then which line is longer? The blue line or the yellow line? Pause the video now to think and decide. Point to the button that you think is true when you're ready. Mathematician, you've done it again. You've done some great thinking. This is complex, but let's think. If we know the yellow line is shorter than the red line, and the blue line is longer than the red line, then we can use the red line to help compare the blue line and the yellow line. So which is longer, the blue line or the yellow line? Yes, I got that too. The blue line is longer. Or we could say the yellow line is shorter. Oh, time just flies when you're having a good time. I can't believe our